이 사랑 때문에 나는 살수
Okay, good morning everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all the student course. Hi, my name is Vesara Ardigatra, and from Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Pajajaran. And today I will guide this meeting. Firstly, I would like to say the honorable our speaker to Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama, MBA, and of course, Dr. Evi Sylvia, MBA, and all the participants for the international virtual lectures today. First of all, let us thanks to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because of His blessing we are able to come here to join in this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation today is about business management and entrepreneurship in healthcare. And firstly, I would like to say that the first session is from Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama, and the second session is from Dr. Evi Sylvia, MBA, with the topic the power of brand awareness in healthcare industry. As we know, in your screen, of course, we already see that Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama, MBA, was a senior VP Business of Operation at Modal Rakyat with the education Bachelor of Engineering from Institut Teknologi Bandung, and an MBA come from Business Administration and Management from MIT Sloan School of Management. And he was interested, of course, in research related to the strategic management, business model innovation, business development, entrepreneurial marketing. And let me check. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's open our meeting by saying Basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for the next agenda. Is presentation session is come from the first presenter. Please welcome Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama. Hi, Mr. Yuda, how are you?
Hi, Pak Sarah. Good. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. And he is a senior VP Business and Operation at Modal Rakyat. If you see about the Instagram of Modal Rakyat, it's very, I think it's, it's like one of the platform with the many of the answer relate the management, related to the business. If you have any question related to the business, you can see and check the Instagram. And are you ready, Mr. Yuda?
Yeah, sure. I will share my own screen.
Okay. Without any longer, well, Mr. Yuda, time and the screen is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Sarah, and everyone and every student here that is taking the time to discuss today. So give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. So you can see my screen, right?
Yep, it's clearly. Please.
So this morning, I'm going to talk about product market fit, which is basically, as you can see there, it's. I assume you're here because you're either interested in entrepreneurship or even planning on building a startup in the future, maybe after you graduate or even now. And product market fit is one thing that you have to get right in order to be successful. So, and today's discussion, because of time limitation, it's going to be just an introduction. We are not going to go deep. So my goal today is just to spark your curiosity to learn deeper about product market fit in your own time, or you can always reach out to me after if you want to learn more in depth. Wait, why is it not working? Sorry, just quickly to reintroduce myself. I'm currently a senior VP of Business and Operations at Modal Rakyat. So Modal Rakyat is a peer-to-peer lending platform, which basically a platform that connecting individual investors like us to small and medium enterprise in Indonesia. And I'm also currently helping a startup in its early stage, so I cannot reveal the name yet. I just graduated from MIT with an MBA degree this last May, basically. It's just a few months ago. And then while I was in the US, I also had the opportunity to work as a senior product manager intern in Amazon US. And prior to that, I was leading the B2B business of Traveloka as the product manager. Yeah, so this is just a quick about myself. So enough about myself. Let's talk about a product market fit. I'm sorry, my computer is working too slowly. Wait. Sorry for the technical trouble. I think whenever I put it on full screen, it doesn't want to move. Wait.
Okay. So maybe for all the participants, we can learn much more about Mr. Yuda experience, of course, in Traveloka, Amazon, and I believe it's very input for us. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I just put it in this mode, not full screen, just to make sure that.
Okay, no problem.
There's no technical problem. Oh, and also, sorry, before I continue, how should we go about the question and answer? Do I finish the presentation first and then Q&A session separate or?
Yeah, okay. For the presentation, about 45 minutes, and we will give about 15 minutes for the question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Actually, personally, I'd rather people interrupt me in the middle, but yeah, I'll just follow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's three agenda basically. Number one is to introduce what is product market fit, and then why we should pursue product market fit, or I will refer to it as PMF for short. And then lastly, I think the meat of the discussion is how to achieve product market fit. What's the framework that you can use? Okay, it's not working again.
It's okay, we can wait. No worry.
Okay, so basically what is product market fit? So I would refer to this two experts here. So one is Mark Andreessen, which is the partner at venture capital Andreessen Horowitz. So product market fit is basically when the customers are buying the product just as fast as you can make it. Money is piling up, and then you are hiring sales and customer support staff as fast as you can. Or basically, to put it simply, it's when you are overwhelmed by the demand for from the customers. And then the definition from Eric Ries, the author of the Lean Startup book, which is a very popular book, he says that product market fit is the moment when a startup finds a widespread set of customers that resonate with its product. Or in my own definition, at the bottom is to put it simply, it's when you've built something that people want today. And the today's part is important, and I will refer to it later in a few minutes. Why building something that people want today is important. And obviously, when we talk about the successful startups, like in Indonesia, there's Grab, Gojek, Traveloka, and so on. They have obviously achieved product market fit, and without product market fit, your startup or any startup wouldn't be successful. And then, yeah, why pursue product market fit? Obviously, as I just mentioned, because otherwise you would fail. And based on CB Insights research, the number one reason why startups fail basically is because there is no market need, which is surprising, right? I mean, people build a startup because they believe that customers will buy the product that they create. But in fact, 42% at least of the startups fail because people just don't buy the product. And actually, even more, there's a trap that is even more dangerous than not having a product market fit. It is the illusion of having a product market fit. So according to Alex Schultz, he is the CMO of Meta, or formerly Facebook, and he has advised many startups. And the number one problem that he has seen is that most startups don't actually have product market fit, but they believe they do have product market fit. And why is this problematic? Because when you believe that you have product market fit, you will start hiring more people, you will start spending money on marketing and things like that, and maybe your user base is growing, but mostly it's due to being incentivized because you share your discount coupon, and because of that your user is growing. But when you stop the discounting, people will leave, basically. So there's a lot of examples where startup at the beginning they seem to have product market fit, but at the end they don't. I think one of the examples would be Groupon. If you guys, I don't know if you guys familiar, if your generation is familiar, but I think maybe Pak Vesara's generation and mine, we are familiar with Groupon. Is a discounting website, basically, which achieve a pretty good success, I would say, in terms of how big it has become. But at the end, it failed. The business model failed because it wasn't profitable. And that is one of the examples when you think you have product market fit when in fact you don't. And that is very dangerous because you are spending investors' money, you are spending your own time, multiple years working on it, for I would say for nothing. Okay, and this is the core of our discussion today. So how do we achieve PMF, basically? Like, what's the method, what's the framework that we can use to achieve this? And the disclaimer here, this isn't an exact formula. This is a framework. Of course, it needs to be customized based on the context, based on your industry and the product that you're building. But before I explain the framework, let me just share how not to achieve product market fit, basically. Like, what is the wrong way to try to accomplish product market fit? Which is, the first is by building a product by predicting the future, trying to predict the future first. Or secondly, by solving problems that don't exist. And these two usually go hand in hand. So one of the example is Segway, which I put here. Again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Segway. It's the vehicle on the bottom left there. It's basically similar to scooter. It has two wheels and it has self-balancing technology, which looks cool. It looks futuristic, and it uses futuristic technology as well. And this was introduced in 2001, which was 20 years ago. I think even now it still looks futuristic. I cannot imagine how people perceive it in 2001. And it was dubbed as the future of transportation. Steve Jobs, if you guys know, he was one of the main figure in tech industry, basically, at the time. And he said that Segway is going to be as big as a deal as the personal computer. Mm-hmm. But it turns out, basically expectations were high. People are saying, okay, this is the future. But turns out after 20 years, they've managed to only sold 140,000, which seems a lot. But if you compare it, I put it there. Toyota sold 180,000 cars in 2020 alone in Indonesia only, which means Toyota accomplished what they accomplished in 20 years within a year. And not to mention the money spent on the development, on the research and other costs. to develop this. And the reasons for failure, there's a lot of analysis as to why this failed, but mostly they say that because it doesn't have a clear use case, it doesn't solve like a real problem now. Like basically, okay, well, what do you use this for? Although it looks futuristic, but who would want to use this product, right? I mean, and it also lacks supporting infrastructure. Like for example, Segway is too fast for pedestrian. You would endanger pedestrian if you use pedestrian for Segway, but it's too slow for the regular road. So that's why it's kind of people are confused, like how should I go about using this, and the supporting infrastructure, like where do I park this, how do I charge it, and things like that aren't clearly defined. So yeah, basically by trying to imagine, okay, this is the future, so I should build this, that's not how most successful product or how most successful companies are started, basically. And then what actually is the process that people use to develop a product that actually solves market needs? So this is the 5-step that I summarized from many sources. So first is by writing down a CPS hypothesis. CPS is customer, problem, and solution. And then after that, you talk to your potential customers, whoever or whatever segment that you think will buy your product or will use your product. And then number 3 is to build the MVP. And number 4 is evaluate the result of the MVP and then decide whether you want to continue or you make course correction, you change, you pivot your product. So let's go first to CPS hypothesis. And I intentionally put it as write a CPS hypothesis because you do need to write it down, because this hypothesis needs to be refined over and over again. So unless you write it down, it's going to be difficult for you to evaluate. So first is about the customer, basically who are your target customers, and state the segment as specific as possible. And usually the best practice is to keep the segment very small at the beginning. Like, for example, if you are targeting consumer, do not say every consumer is your target customer, but you need to be specific and define it using attributes that are relevant to the context of your product, right? Like I see many beginners in marketing usually define it using demography, which is the easiest to do, like by age, by gender, for example, by location, which sometimes useful, but most often than not, in my experience, aren't that useful actually. The more useful attributes to use is usually whatever that is relevant to your specific context. Like take for example, you are creating a drug to improve brain performance, for example. I don't know if that product exists, I just make it up. Defining your segment as gender, as age, maybe is less useful than if you define it as, okay, what industry are my customers working at, or what level of position, for example, are they in the entry level position or manager level or VP or C level. That's what I mean by attributes that are relevant to the product or the industry that you are in. And secondly is about the problem. Okay, we have the group of potential customers that we target, and what problem are we solving for them, basically. Define what the problem is, and then what are the costs associated with the problem. And it's best if you can quantify it in terms of dollar or rupiah amount, because if you can quantify it, then you can price your product easily. Basically, if you can say that, okay, this problem is costing every person, say 10 million rupiah per month, then if you sell your product, if you price your product at 2 million, it's already a bargain. Like you already give so much value, and obviously people will buy. But quantifying is not easy, I know, but you should aim for that. And you should also define, or not define, I mean, write down, why do the current solutions fail? Or if there is no current solution for the problem, that's even better. But most of the times, there must be some solution, although maybe not the same as you're developing. And when you define the current solution, you shouldn't limit the other solution or the competitor as the things that are similar to your product. For example, if you are developing, okay, let me think. If you are developing a truck that can help people with lactose intolerance, for example, if you think people with lactose intolerance actually want to consume dairy products, but they can't because of the situation, your competitor is not only other trucks that do similar thing to yours, but also like other products. For example, soy milk product. Basically, you should think, okay, if my target customers want to consume dairy product, how do they do that? For example, oh, they buy an alternative. They buy soy milk, they buy almond milk, or vegetarian cheese or something like that. So those quote unquote unobvious competitors are actually also your competitor, and you should consider them when you evaluate why do the current solutions fail. And lastly is the solution itself. Write down how your solution work and why is it actually better than current solutions. And again, by the current solutions, I mean everything that your target customer use as an alternative to fulfilling the needs. And first draft, obviously first draft is going to suck. It always does with writing, but it's okay. Just move on to the next steps and look at it, iterate again later after you go through the full cycle. Okay, the next step is talking to your potential customers. And here are just some tips of do's and don'ts. So first you should find a set of a group of people that you think match the customer profile that you in your hypothesis before. And then always start with either qualitative interview or observation of the customer's behavior, or both. But do not jump directly to survey, basically. Because at this point, you should assume that you don't understand the nuances of the problem completely. So if you don't understand most of it, most likely if you create a questionnaire, it wouldn't be good, and the answer wouldn't be insightful to you. That's why I would suggest that first you go with qualitative interview. So find some people that match your targeted customer profile, talk to them quantitatively, like understand and yeah, the second tips is listen to their problem, basically understand the nuances of the problem, why the problem happens and how painful it is for them, or how much it costs if they can quantify it, and what do they use currently to solve that problem. And the don't part is do not listen to their solution. Usually people, the quote unquote the smart people, they would have a tendency to explain a solution. Basically, when you ask this, they would suggest, okay, you should build this. But what you should do is you do not listen to the suggestion, to the solution suggestion. But what you should do is dig deeper. Why do they suggest the solution? Like, why do you suggest this product? Like, what problems do you have? What problems do your suggestion solve? You should dig deeper on that instead. And secondly, do not pitch your product yet at this point. Because why? Because your product or your hypothesis is still unproven, and if you directly pitch your product, you wouldn't find good answers. You wouldn't find a deep understanding of what the problem actually looks like from the point of view of the potential customers. And then the third tip is ask about the real experience, recent experience, preferably maybe in the past 1 to 3 months at the longest, and do not ask hypothetical question. So when you ask about what problem do you experience, or for example, okay, if you experience this problem, what do you do? Do not ask that hypothetical question. Do not ask what would you do, but okay, have you experienced this problem before, and when was that, and what did you do? What did you actually do, and why you did what you did? So always ask about what they actually do, because people find it difficult to explain, to answer hypothetical question accurately, because people often actually don't know what they want in a hypothetical situation. But if you ask about their real experience, that it would actually reveal their actual, what they want in actuality. And maybe one last tip is, which I didn't write it here, is try to use 5 whys. Basically, just whatever the interviewee answer, you should ask what's the motivation behind that. Why is that? Of course, you do not literally ask why every time, because it's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
Like you should use different phrases, like okay, maybe first you ask why, and then you can ask, okay, maybe you can add some hypothetical, oh, did you do it because of this? Maybe they answer no, and then they explain the real reason. Yeah, you should try to be creative with the probing questions. And when I explain about this, people often say, what's the sample size? Because especially in the research or academic community, statistical significance is important. But at this stage, actually, I would argue that you don't need too many samples, as long as you manage to find a pattern. So in my experience, actually 6 to 7 people is enough, as long as you find a similar pattern in their answer. But if you don't, just keep adding more respondent, more interview, until you find the pattern. So it's better to get 6 to 7 people with the same pattern and then move on to the next step than spending time interviewing at least, for example, 30 people, which it's going to take a lot of time. So it's better to move on and then complete the whole cycle and then go back to it again and then interview again later on. Okay, so that's the second step. And then the third step is to create an MVP. If you're not familiar, it stands for minimum viable product. Minimum here, so this is my own definition actually. Minimum here means it requires least effort, time, and cost to develop. And viable means that it can help you test your CPS hypothesis at the beginning. After you refine it, oh yeah, sorry. So after you did the interview, you should refine your CPS hypothesis again, actually, because by then you can sense whether, at least a little bit, whether your hypothesis is correct or not. And I have some experience where my initial hypothesis is being disproved at the interview stage, and I went back to the hypothesis again, refine it again, and only after that you go to the next step. And the next step is building minimum viable product. And although it is called product, it actually doesn't have to be an actual product. And I will share with you some examples where you can test without having an actual product. And oftentimes people are afraid or scared of damaging their reputation when they launch something that isn't perfect yet. But Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, says that if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late, basically. By launching too late, meaning you've spent too much time, you spend too much money to later on find out that your product doesn't work. And most of the times it won't work. Also, believe me, most of the time it won't work. So it's better to make it quick, validate it. If it doesn't work, you change. But if it works, then you continue to build the more proper version. And yeah, one of the examples of MVP is by Dropbox here. So again, this is a product of my generation. So I'm not sure if you guys, the students, know about Dropbox, but basically it's similar to Google Drive, but it can sync your files even in your computer hard drive. And at the time, developing, because Dropbox has a very seamless user experience, developing the full-fledged product, it would require it would require them to overcome significant technical hurdle, actually. And yeah, this is common in technology world. The more seamless the experience, the more complex actually the process in the background. So at the time, the founder was worried because what if we spend the time, the resources, energy to develop the best, no one wants it. And then the CEO, he thought to create a simple 3 minutes video demonstrating how Dropbox would work, even without having the actual product developed at that point. So he just used a video editor to simulate, okay, this is how it's gonna work. But he pretend that it's already there in the video. He explained, okay, you click here, you click there, and you will see the files there. You only using video editor app. And after publishing it overnight, within a day, they have a waiting list. Basically, it went from 5,000 to 75,000, 15 times the current rate at the time. And when they see that, only at that point they are sure, okay, the people want this, and then let's build the proper product, the actual product. And then there's another example of MVP. This is by Zappos. I'm sure most of you are not familiar because this is in the US and Canada. So Zappos is a pioneer of online retailer for shoes. I don't know, this was early 2000, I guess, or late 90s. There wasn't any online retailer at the time, so people still buy shoes 100% by going to store. And the hypothesis is that for some people, buying shoes in store is cumbersome. And if the shoes are available online, consumers would be willing to buy even without trying them first, which was very uncommon at the time. Because if you come to store, you can try it on, you can pick the size that you want, and you can feel it, whether it's comfortable or not. But it's not doable online. But to test that hypothesis, the CEO actually, he created a website which is relatively easy, but for the background process, he still does it manually. So for the shoes inventory, for the shoes itself, he took the picture of shoes from local store. He just went to local stores, taking pictures and then putting them on his website. And then when a customer buy, only then he goes to store and then buy them and then deliver them. So it looks like a properly functioning online store from the customer perspective, but at the back end, it's actually the founder doing most of the work, which was, again, going back to the MVP definition, it requires minimum cost, time, and energy to develop, and it can help him at the time to validate whether the market wants this or not. So yeah, just going back again. So minimum viable product can be anything. It can be, like, for example, if you guys know Kickstarter, those are the examples of minimum viable product. Most of the products there are do not even exist yet, haven't been built yet. But the creator, they post a video, they post the description and share the website, and then ask people to even pay or pre-order before they create it. And that way you can be more sure of whether there's a demand for this product or not, especially for innovative product which maybe didn't exist yet in the market before. You should build an MVP. And then after building the MVP, the next step is to evaluate the result of the MVP launching itself. And there's so many actually signs of MVP and PMF, and you can look it up yourself. But the three that I find most useful is, the first is the user or customer growth rate from organic or unpaid channel. For example, by referral, by word of mouth. If your month-to-month growth rate reach at least 10%, which equals to 3 times the volume, 3 times growth per year, it's already pretty good. And if you can reach more than 20%, it's already great. So if you can reach that purely by unpaid channel, that's a sign that you have a product market fit. And then secondly is the retention. So if your retention reach a plateau at a reasonable level, I know this word doesn't make sense to you now, but let me just show you what a plateau of retention means. So this is what people usually use to analyze retention. It's called cohort analysis. So basically, the way it works is there's an x-axis and y-axis. And the y-axis is percent of users retained. But you can think of it like, for example, if you are talking about Facebook, the y-axis can be the daily active users, how many users active in that day. And the x-axis is how many days after that first day, the first day that user is active. For example, if the day 0 is the 1st of November, then the day 1 is the 2nd of November, and you track it over time. And obviously at day 0, like 100% is going to be active, but most often than not, it will decrease at the second day, and it will keep decreasing until, if you reach a product market fit, there is going to be a time when the decrease is flattening out. For example, in this example, is from day 7 onwards. So if you can reach that, that means that there's a group of users that find value from your product consistently. That means that your product answers their problem consistently, which is good, because that means whenever you spend $1 marketing to them, a portion of them will stay for a long period of time. And what does it look like if you don't have product market fit? Basically, it will go to zero. For example, if it keeps declining, maybe in day 10 it goes to zero, and that means you don't have product market fit yet, because for every one user that you acquire, he will not use your product 10 days later, and it's not a good position to be. And the best position actually if it bounces back, so it looks like a smile curve. So some products manage to achieve that. Actually, if you think of Facebook, WhatsApp, or any social media product, it usually bounces back after it declines. Basically at the beginning, because maybe, for example, when we talk about Instagram, right, when you first use it, maybe the next day you don't access it again because there's no one there yet. But as more of your friends are there, you after a few days you look at it again, and then that's why the curve goes up again. And that's the best case scenario. But if you manage to reach a plateau, that's already good enough actually. And the third indicator is by asking to your customer a question: what if you can no longer use this product? How would you feel? Basically, would you be not disappointed, or a little disappointed, or very disappointed? If you have at least 40% of your customers say they would be very disappointed, then you have a strong indication of product market fit, basically. And in this evaluate stage, beside looking at those metrics and asking the question, you should also ask for customers' feedback, because this will give you guidance when you need to change direction, and most of the times you will need to change direction. So these are some of the questions: is what type of people would benefit from the product? For example, if your hypothesis of your target customers is wrong, the question number one will help you. Okay, maybe we should change the target customer, and maybe you can use the answer from question number one. And the question number two is, what is the main benefit you receive from the product? This is to confirm whether you are solving the problem that you thought you were going to solve in your hypothesis. Your product might solve a problem for the customers, but it might not be the problem that you thought of before. And number three is simply, how can we improve the product? And lastly is to decide. This is based on the result in step 4. First is whether to continue. If the result is good, then you continue, meaning you build the full version of the product. Or number 2, you adjust meaning adding feature or changing the UX, tweaking the UX a little, basically small adjustments. Or number 3 is pivot, which is a major adjustment, doing something different based on the learning, but not completely different. If the term pivot itself, you're familiar with basketball, pivoting is when one foot stays the same but the other move. So in your CPS hypothesis, one of them should be the same. For example, you only change the problem and the solution stays the same, but maybe we change the customer segment. Or the other way is, we still target this customer segment, but we try to solve other problems for them. Yeah, this is the last step in one cycle, and finding product market fit is not it's not a destination, it's not a one-time thing, it's a journey. So you keep doing this until you add more users use your product. And yeah, that's basically it. And lastly, maybe the last tip is that the market doesn't care about your vision, it will want what it wants. Basically, let's you might seem to have a great idea at first, but let's not glorify that. Let's not pretend that it will inevitably succeed, because most often it's not going to succeed, and that's why you need to validate what the market wants, because at the end of the day, if what you want and what the market wants are different, the market will win like every single day. Yeah, that's from me, Pak Vesara. So what questions do you guys might have?
Well, thank you for Mr. Yuda. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are come to the opinion question and answer session. I mean, well, it's interesting discussion, especially it's not always about the product, but also how to dealing with the customer, monitoring and evaluate the progress to build, of course, the potential market for product. So we are now in the question and answer session. If you have any question, you could write in your book. But firstly, I would like to say hi firstly for Mr. Aulia Swantika. He said that thank you for your nice talk. Despite the fact that Apple is the most innovative company in the world, it has several unsuccessful products in the market. Using iPhone 5C as a case from the PMF perspective, how can make this product could not succeed in the market? Please, Mr. Yuda. Yeah.
That's a tough question because I didn't use iPhone 5C and I wasn't an iPhone user at the time. But okay, the quick answer is I don't know because yeah, I'm not aware of the situation at the time. But again, this process doesn't guarantee you a success, right? I mean, some of your product will fail and some of your product will succeed. But if you do not deliberately test your assumption, the probability of succeeding is going to be much lower, basically. And remember also that by the time they launch iPhone 5C, Apple is already a big company, so they have more, I would say, buffer or safety net when they fail. So that's why they can experiment more what they can actually they can simply spend more money to experiment, and when it fails, the impact is not going to be deadly to the company. But if you're a startup, if you fail, then you don't exist anymore, basically. Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question because I don't know.
Yeah, Mr. Aulia said thank you for the answer. And the second one, I will remain to all the participants. If you have any question, you could raise your hand in the chat box. But it's actually okay. We have a question from Rachel Devara. Please, Rachel, if you, it's allowed to you if you want to say directly or by the message in the box, in the chat box, please. Please.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm Rachel from Mulawarman University. I'm sorry before, but I'm so curious and still don't understand. At your slide, someone from Meta told that startup they think they have PMF, but they don't. How can they think they have PMF when they don't have? Are they don't understand anything about PMF, or what are why they don't have PMF? Thank you.
Yeah. Should I answer it directly or wait for other answers?
Yes,
for other questions.
please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. So basically the question is, how come there are startups that think they have when they actually don't? Like, are they quote unquote stupid or what? So most people misunderstood PMF as simply having a rapid growth, right? But a lot of startups actually grow significantly because they spend money on marketing. For example, they give discounts, or yeah, mostly discounts, or advertise massively so that everyone is aware about the product. But when you do that and you have significant growth, it's hard to really know whether it's because your product answer the customer's problem, or just because the customers is being incentivized, right? So that's an ambiguous situation to be in, and that's when that's what Alex Schultz refer as when the founder think they have product market fit, and usually founders are a little bit delusional, I would say, because they believe in their vision, and when they see positive result, they believe that okay, we have something here, we solve customers' problem here, we've shown our growth shown maybe 5x 7x in a year, which is great. But again, the result could be skewed. It's unclear whether it's because the product solved the customer problem, or just because the customer is being incentivized. And sooner or later, if it's the latter, if it's because the customer is being incentivized, it's going to be exposed, like sooner or later, when the discount stops.
Okay, so it because the founders just focus on the money and doesn't focus on the customers.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Russell. And then we move to the next question. It's come Petrus Putra Baskara. Please, Petrus, you can ask directly, please.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. Faza and Mr. Rizalki. So I want to ask a question that, so based on your experience, what is the biggest challenge for new startup company in Indonesia on developing minimum viable products? Thank you.
What is the challenge for startup in Indonesia for creating MVP, basically? It depends a lot on the industry, right? I think the biggest challenge is actually defining what your MVP is, what the right MVP for your product is, meaning what do you need to develop that takes the very minimum effort and time and money, but you can validate. And defining that is always hard, because most of oftentimes we are biased to, okay, if our product is for example, our product is an app, then the MVP needs to be an app as well, which can take multiple months to develop. I think that's the most challenge for technology product. But for science-based product, I'm talking about medicines, talking about drugs. There's also regulatory challenge, and also the challenge to prove whether your product works or not, as promised or not. For example, if you're developing a painkiller, whether your drug will relieve pain and it has minimum side effects and things like that. It's difficult. And to be honest, I'm not familiar with the industry. So I think, yeah, I think for most industries, it should be relatively easy to develop MVP if you understand what MVP to develop. The hard part is to define what it is to develop, I think. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, he said, thank you for the answer, Mr. Yuda.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it's very interesting because, yeah, it's right what you say before that. It's not just about the product, I mean the drugs, but also how because in pharmacy, in healthcare, we talk about the medical treatment, of course. So it could be like a technology platform, or like some kind of like startups such like this. Okay, is there any question? for all the participants. We have one from Rehan Indra Wibawa. Hi, Rehan. If I may read the question, it's possible to hold a business even though it doesn't sell or work well, because it's possible that if the customer target isn't very good, but maybe in good right time, it becoming booming just as if how virtual service are high demand in pandemic, or even though previously isn't really demanded at all. This you can.
Yeah, that is completely right. Although the caveat is, when during the time that you hold off not having customers, do you have the resources or not? That's basically, if you are loaded, if you have a lot of money, if you're like Apple, where you can stay, where your company can stay alive without getting revenue for a few months or even a few years, that's fine. But most startups don't have enough resources to stay even for a year. So that's where the problem comes. That you made the right point, but in most situations, you don't have that privilege.
Yeah, there you have it for Rehan. And because of the time, I believe this is our question. It's come from Anissa Nur Rahmayanti. Hi, Anissa. Thank you for the amazing presentation, Mr. Yuda. My name is Nisa. May I ask, do you think there is a strong correlation between the survival rate of startups with the implementation of PMF in their products? Thank you for in advance. Please.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. But just a little bit of correction. So PMF is what you achieve, but the method itself, it's not called PMF. So people usually refer to it as customer development or lean startup method. So what I just described is basically a mix of the two. And the question is, do I think there's a strong correlation? I don't have the data yet, and I don't think there is a research proving or disproving this point. But at least a lot of successful founders stated that they use this process to when they develop their product. And this is also, I think, the process that is being used by, if you guys know, the accelerator called Y Combinator is the biggest accelerator in the world. Is the accelerator that help Airbnb, the likes of Airbnb, Dropbox, and other big companies to succeed. And what they always preach is to always validate your assumption. So so what do I think? So I think, yeah, there is a strong correlation, but how strong, I don't know yet. Like, I have no idea, and I don't think anyone has any idea about it.
The correlation. Okay, I just have information from the committee. They said that we have still more time. So this is the last question from Harson. Hi, Harson. Hello, my name is Harson. Can we use what is called brand archetype for getting our PMF?
Sorry, Harson. Thank you for the question, but sorry, I'm not familiar with brand archetype, so I have no idea.
Yeah, maybe Harson could.
Yeah, or if you can explain about it just a little.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, there we have it. Thank you for Mr. Yuda. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can say thank you for once again for Mr. Yuda. And next we move to the this is our appreciation to Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama.
Oh, thank you.
This is our certificate of appreciation. But wait, I will screenshot first. Okay. Thank you for Mr. Yuda and for your sharing. It's honor for us, and it's a great information. And I believe it will increase our attitude and mindset, of course, relate to your information. And thank you once again. Thank you for your information.
Yeah,
it's
my honor.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. It's my honor, Pak Vesara and everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will leave first. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. So today, sorry. Once again, thank you for Mr. Yuda. And next, for the next agenda is presentation session is from the, sorry. For the next agenda is presentation session. For the second turn will be given the second presenter. Please welcome Ibu Dr. Evi Sylvia MBA. Well, hi Ibu, nice to meet you. Good morning.
Hello, Dr. Vesara.
Yeah.
May I call you Dr. Vega?
It's okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Ibu Vi.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Well, but firstly, I would like to read the some kind of curriculum vitae of Ibu Dr. Evi Sylvia MBA. She is head of business strategy analysis metric of PT Bio Farma with education B Farm from University Pajajaran, and of course Faculty of Pharmacy, and then a pharmacy professional study program from University Pajajaran, Universitas Pajajaran, and then operation management MBA from Institut Teknologi Bandung, and for doctoral degree strategic management from Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Pajajaran. She was interested with the business strategic analysis, business plan, corporate planning, and strategy, packaging system, and vaccine. I believe we will have a good input and information from the presentation. Well, without any longer, time and screen is yours. Please, Bu.
Thank you, Dr. Vega, to introduce me. It's my honor to be here with you this morning. Let me say hi to Dr. Aulia and all organization committee international virtual lecture. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to having me. Can I share screen?
Yep, please.
Thank you. Today we will learn together, discussing, I think, because I'm still learning also with you, and I hope I can some insight from you. From how many person here? 289%.
Yeah.
Hooray! Thank you. Okay, today we will discussing about the power of brand awareness in healthcare industry. As Dr. Vega mentioned, that my background is from the pharmaceutical industry. I'm from the Bio Farma, the manufacturer of vaccine and antisere, and now since 2020 we got the SOE pharmaceutical holding, Dr. Vega. So
Yeah.
Bio Farma as a holding pharmaceutical, and we have subsidiaries include the Kimia Pharma and Indofarma. And we know that Kimia Pharma has subsidiaries Lucas and Papros. Okay, so today we will talking about the power of the brand in healthcare industry. So what is the reinforcing for the brands? Generally, we reinforce brand equity in marketing action that consistently convey the meaning of the brand to the customers in terms of brand awareness and brand image. And managing of the brand, effective brand management requires taking a long-term view of the marketing decision. So any action that a firm takes from the program is potential to change how the customer knowledge about our brand, how to win the some spot in the customer mind about our brands. Our brand is help our customers to make decision what kind product, what kind brand they will choose, what they need. This is the activity. This is the activity of the brand awareness. How the brand can starting from the past marketing activities, and how the brand awareness and brand image can bring to the customer response to the current marketing activity, and how change brand awareness and brand image could make the customer response to the future marketing activity. And for the brand reinforcement, this is the scheme of the how we can reinforcement strategy to the brand, starting with the brand awareness, and then the activity of the brand image. For the brand awareness stuff is which cover what products does the brand represent to the market. It means our customer. What benefit does it will be supplied to our customer, and what need does it satisfies for the customer. And for the image, brand image, it's how does the brand make products superior, what's strong, favorable, and the unique brand associated exists with the customer's mind. As I mentioned before, that the brand is tools to help customer make decision, the brand and the product they will choose. The strategy of the brand awareness and the brand image stuff, it will innovation in the product design, how the packaging self, how the colors we will choose, and the relevance in user and usage imaginary. Let's move to the pharmaceutical product. The pharmaceutical product is manufactured go to the retail. I will choose these three kind because the pharmaceutical product is end to end. We have herbal, we have food and beverage, we have the fast moving customer goods, pharmaceutical also vaccine and antisera, also chemical and others. I will choose some of the holding company in biopharma self. If we see the manufacturer go to the retail, we see the associate with the Apple. The brand of Apple, they have brand using this picture Apple. So everything regarding the Apple, it will be using this brand. How about the Calbe? Calbe always using Calbe. Cal could be Calbe store or Calcare. And for the Kimia Pharma self, we also using everything using Kimia Pharma Apotek, Kimia Pharma Laboratory and Clinic, and also we also Kimia Pharma distribution. Sorry. Now, how about the format? Starting from the branded house, it will be divided to others. For the Google, for the example, Google will use anything like Kimia Pharma, starting with the Google Book, Google Groups, Google Video, and others. And the others architecture for the house of brand, such as PNG using not always using PNG. See, they have Tide, they have Folgers and Pampers, but they produced by PNG. The others architecture using hybrid, the branded house and house of brands. The hybrid we can choose, for the example is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has Coca-Cola, has Sprite and others. Is it moving, Dr. Vega? Because in my screen it's not moving in the slide.
Yeah, it's not moving actually.
Oh, sorry. I will stop share first. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now talking about the architecture, how the brand can build by the architecture. For the example of the FedEx, we call it the monolithic brand architecture. what is the monolithic brand architecture? We can see the characteristics of the colors. Everything everything product of the FedEx will using FedEx, but they using different colors for their product, for their brand. How about the others? Is it moving?
Yep.
Unilever. Okay, thank you. For Unilever example, we call it the architecture is pluralistic brand architecture. Why? Because the Unilever for the others brand, they don't use like FedEx. They use another brand. They use another name. For example, they use Bertolli, Dove, Lipton, and others. And the others architecture is Apple. We call it endorsed brand architecture because the Apple using the characteristic using I in the first. So that's they want to put the spot mind in their customer using the significant branded using I. This is the architecture for another sample from the Marriott Group. The Marriott Group, they divide it based on the level of the customer, the level of the segment of the customer. The Marriott Group, for the exclusive luxury hotels, they use the Ritz-Carlton. And for the contemporary quality hotels, they use GW Marriott's or Renaissance. And for other segment, they use another different branded and names. Nah, I hope everyone here is familiar with the Indonesia, the wonderful Indonesia from our government. So they using the monolithic and cemetery Garuda. The color they using only this one. Everything using the same colors, but they use the wonderful Indonesia. They use trade with Indonesia and invest in Indonesia. But the colors and the picture of the Indonesia, wonderful Indonesia, using the Garuda, using the Garuda and the same colors. So where we start to make a strong brand for our products, where we start. This is the architecture or the step to make the strong of our brand quality leaders, starting with the brand awareness to our customer, and the next step is brand association. And then go through the perceive the quality, brand loyalty, and the last is brand advocate. This is the sample of the brand awareness from the brand equity. Everybody know who is Iwan Fals. Iwan Fals is using as the brand ambassador for the top coffee, and we know the jargon of from the Iwan Fals is bongkar. Is it right?
Yeah.
Yes. So top coffee using Iwan Fals as brand ambassador using his jargon. They said that bongkar kebiasaan lama. Why? Because Top Coffee is a new player for the coffee market in Indonesia. So they want to say to our today customer that, hey, change your usually coffee and move to our brand. This is the good one. Okay. Others brand equity is brand association. Everyone know Kijang. Kijang starting from maybe is when I still young, I know Kijang. And now Toyota launched the Innova, but they still call it Kijang, right? So everybody know Kijang, even it's Innova Kijang. How about the perceived quality? Maybe for the perceived quality, we can see the example for the coast seafood. Why? Because the perceive of quality, they make the brand mutu bintang 5, harga kaki 5. So they will communicate with their customer that their quality is the best quality, even the price is lower. That's the communication to the customer regarding the perceive of the quality. How about the brand loyalty? For the brand loyalty, we know that Bluebird until now, even we have Gojek, even we have Grab. For myself, I still comfort to choose Bluebird as my public transportation because this brand is perceived the safety. So many customer loyal choose this brand to their public transportation. That's why we call it the brand loyalty. How about the Harley? Maybe someone can help me why Harley Davidson can we called as a brand advocate. This is the highest level of the brand equity. If somebody can help me to explain why Harley Davidson as a brand advocate?
The high power of the machine, maybe?
Yes, the high power. And it will be a suggestion for the high class.
Yeah.
To choose this vehicle to show their class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to suggestion the Scoopy maybe for the high class, right? So the brand advocate. So maybe for the quality almost similar, not same but almost similar. It's the function is for the transportation, right? The function is the same, but why Harley Davidson can be higher than others vehicle? Because they have the strong brand, and they can be called in the brand advocate to the segment of the high class. Okay, now we move to the framework. This is the framework, and in biopharma self, using this framework to create our new brand for our product, and how to evaluate it, our last brand, and how to make the strong our product in the market. So this is the framework for the choosing and evaluating the market. What is the target market first? As I said in the last slide, that example of the Harley Davidson, this target market is for the high class. Sorry to interrupt. The target market will be make the differences of the what kind brand we will choose. The target market for young people and for the old person, it will be different design and also this different colors too. This is the step of go to the retail, and after we using the framework, the how to create the brand, we do some internal discussion to corporate business and strategy and research design and purpose, name and logo. After we have the candidate of the name and logo, we do some internal discussion And after the internal discussion, we moved to group discussion. This is the main of FGD is to see the customer insight and the concept of testing. The name, the candidate of name in logo, we share to some groups in the customer, and we want the feedback from the group of the customer. And parallelly, we using the online survey and concept testing to see how the feedback of the customer. After that, we choose the brand design development based on the data of the FGD and online survey to do some data analysis and the data report. What is the FGD do? We research a quality method, and then we must see have the facilitated and who the participate. It's must related with the what kind segment we will choose. This is the roles of the moderators and how to produce informally and produce opinion from the FGD and produce the participation to make some insight for the logo and the name from the brand. This is the same moderator goals, and we move to, this is the sample in my existing biopharma. We will using the Immunicare this clinic is proposed to not only for the employee in biopharma, but we will open this clinic to public. So we want to make the brand of this clinic is more interesting, not only for the employee, but also for the general customer, because the Immunicare is will service regarding the vaccine, regarding the doctors and laboratory and clinic too. So when we choose the name of the Immunicare, we try the FGD online survey to see the animo of the customer, which kind of the logo they will interest of the Immunicare. And this is the result of the survey. So the brand name, we can see there are two brands candidates, and we can see the comparison of the first brand and the second brands. Based on this data, we choose the brand based on this data. So if I can see back to this slide, the second one is the logo and branded we choose to our clinic. This is the brand character. Who can what we can choose to the brand character is vision, mission, and value of the company, including will be communicated with our product, and the brand roles, brand position, and target segment. Don't forget, this is the important is the target segment, because the target segment will give a different characteristic. And value proposition and attribute, then brand identify and personality, including the program and initiative. All of this pyramid will cover by logo, colors, imaginary, typography, layout, application, and others. For the example of the brand character, this is the brand character for the Immunicare. The vision and mission of the Immunicare is becoming a sustainable market leader in vaccine retail brand. And the mission is established brand X as a prominent player in the vaccine industry. the brand vision mission, the brand position, the brand role, how the core identity, extended identity, it must covered by data, and the data will give us the decision which kind brand and which kind logo we can create. This slide is explaining about the improving of the brand image. So if we have the brand and the brand is almost in the market, we must maintain the brand image. If we this is because this is related with the marketing revenue. So to improving the brand image, we go back to the basic, and we must analyze the product strategy, pricing strategy, channel strategy, and communication, and create new sources of brand equity. For the channel strategy, we can the channel strategy means that what kind channel we can use to communicate our brand product. For example, we can choose the magazine, we can choose or we can choose some product in the maybe in mobile on others. For the entering new markets, the strategy option is for revitalizing of any brand is simple to more or less abandon the customer group that supported the brand in the past to the target a completely a new market segment. And to adjustment to brand portfolio, migration the strategy. If we know that our first strategy is not proven in the market, so migration is strategy. A corporate or family branding strategy is which brand are ordered in a logical manner could provide the hierarchical of the structure in the customer mind. If we know that our first strategy is not proven in the market, so the next step is migration the strategy and are acquiring new customers. To acquiring new customer, trade-off is in their market effort between attracting new customer and retaining existing ones. Acquiring new customer, it's like Immunicare. Immunicare is a new brand for our laboratory clinic. If our brand is not proven in the market with the new brand, so Biopharma must acquiring new customer. What kind new customer? Biopharma acquiring new customer in BPJS with the branding of the Immunicare, and then Biopharma acquiring new customer with collaboration with the Kimia Pharma laboratory and clinic. So in every clinic in Kimia Pharma, they will have the Immunicare only for the vaccination. This is the topic to managing brands over geographic boundaries and marketing and market segment. As we know that Biopharma is not only in national market, but Biopharma also have regional market segment, and we do some product, some branded, different branded, but the same quality with the national branded, but we do the different branded for the regional market, because for example, for the Thailand market, we must using the Thai language, and then the name of product is different with the national market, but we use the same colors with the national for the same product. This is the disadvantage of the global marketing program. maybe I can skip. And the standardization versus the customization. And this is the continue of the standardization and customization. And for the global brand strategy is how to build brand equity is often necessary to create different marketing programs to address different market segment, different country, different segment, different language, and also different needs. First, we know first step is to identify the differences of the customer behavior and adjust branding program. And building a global brand is how valid is the mental map in the new market. We must know what is the level of awareness of in each geographical, in each countries, and how valuable are the associations. What changes need to be made to the mental map, and by what means should this new mental map be created? For biopharma self, we collaborated with each country, marketing in each country to mapping the customer and segmentation of each country, because each country is very different. For the global customer-based brand quality is to build customer-based brand quality. Marketer must establish breadth and depth of brand awareness. As I said that, like biopharma, we collaborating with the local marketer in each country to establish breadth and depth of the brand awareness, create points of parity and points of difference, elicit positive, accessible brand response, and forge intense active brand relationship. Core brand building blocks is to creating brand salience, developing brand performance, crafting brand image, and creating brand feeling. This is tools to question for the global branding position. We use these tools to create the new branding or the strategy of the strengthening of our product in the different countries. We use these tools, this question, and how valid is the mental map in the new market? What changes should we make to the position? How should we create this new mental map? This is the Dr. Vega. I think this is the time to question and answer, or can I go move to the case study if I still have time?
Yes, it's still we still have a time. So if you want to continue the case study, it's allowed for you.
Okay, thank you. Please allow me to share the case study for the Buah Vita, because the Buah Vita is very simple case study to be understand. And this is the customer goods and fast moving also. So we can learn so many things from the case of the Buah Vita brand. Okay, we learn the brand of the Buah Vita. Why they choose the name of Buah Vita? They will associate it, the Buah Vita, with the buah. In bahasa, buah is buah-buahan. And Vita, it's vitalitas, kehidupan. So they will associate it, the brand of the Buah Vita, with buah-buahan yang bisa mensupport kehidupan. That's why they choose Buah Vita. What is the values of the Buah Vita? Indonesian brand with international quality, real fruit juice. So all the goodness of the real fruits. Strong commitment to quality, consistent to quality and taste. Bring Indonesia customer all benefit of fruits irrespective of the season. As we know that Buah Vita has mango, orange, and others. This is the product history and overview of the Buah Vita. Buah Vita starting with only one package, 250 ml. And then 2 years later, they launched another packaging. And then in 2002, they launched in the small packaging. And for the 2006, they launched another packaging in 200 ml. This is the historical of the Buah Vita. And I want to share with you is this one, that Buah Vita had awards, many awards in every years regarding the brand. Years to years, they get award to the super brand of the Buah Vita. The key challenge facing brand, the opportunities to grow by the leveraging the brand or the brand asset management from the Buah Vita. They make the vertical brand extension and horizontal brand extension. What is the vertical brand extension? They target the premium market with the value added juice, and lower segment market with the fruit drink. So the premium market they targeting, and the lower segment market they also enter the and lower segment market. The horizontal brand extension is added pure juice new variant and added mixed juice. For the brand development, they enter new packaging format. As I mentioned in the previous slide, that year to year they launch different packaging. So they enter new packaging format beside of aseptics such as bottle, can, or glass bottle. And they enter new form of product since from the syrup to the powder juice. This is the innovation of the Buah Vita. And the brand vision and vision, they have the brand portfolio using the endorsed brand or house of brand, and they using the brand picture strategy and marketing mix strategy. For the brand inventory architecture, Buah Vita using this strategy. They have the family pack, personal pack, and kids pack. Buah Vita for the family pack, they launched the packaging of the Buah Vita with 1 liters. And for the personal pack, they launched packaging 2 kinds, 250 ml and 200 ml. And they also using the brand inventory for the kids pack. They launched the Buah Vita Mini in 125 ml. If we see the table in here, this is the variant of the Buah Vita. Buah Vita is the parent brand and still dominating all product. We see this is the competitor of the Buah Vita, right? For the ABC juice is using the corporate brand with the ABC. And sub-brand as descriptor only, this one. And this is the other competitor, Berry. The master brand is Berry, and core sub-brandnya adalah Berry Juice. This is the packaging for the competitor, Berry. For the Berry using horizontal brand extension, mixed juice and mixed ingredient with the vegetable, and healthy balance, less sugar. And for the horizontal brand extension, for the berry is berry lemon and lime. We can see that berry using different packaging. If you know that Buah Vita, it's not using the different packaging for the horizontal. This is the value added juice for the berry. That's the parent brand as a co-driver. Value added juice for the berry is the master brand as the driver and the sub brand as the scripter. Berry as a sub brand, using this one, using this brand, using this packaging, and using this colors and picture. And for the other Sunkist competitor, for the Buah Vita, Sunkist, they using the core brand, using the Sunkist, and the horizontal brand, they're using the Sunkist, but extending with the new packaging format, different with the core brand. And for the Sunkist, they launched the brand diversification using the sub-brand. Sub-brand, we can see the left one, and they launched candy as a brand diversification. Buah Vita using the marketing program, using the TV commercial. You can see this is the version of the TV commercial of the Buah Vita, and the magazine, the selection of the TV station for the marketing, and for the print media using the magazine like Cosmopolitan, Femina, Fit, and others. In-store branding, Buah Vita using, this is the marketing program using the branding of the in-store branding. They have outlets and banners in the outlet. And for the hanging, they're using this one for the branding of the Buah Vita. And the colors is always using the core brand of the Buah Vita. This is for the Buah Vita Mini. For Buah Vita Mini, because the segment is for the kids, so the branding of the Buah Vita Mini is always using something for the kids. This is for the post material for the Buah Vita, and the advertising for the commercial TV. They're using the brand of the Buah Vita using the family package. This is the print ad campaigns for the super brand, focus on the print media and tabloid. This is the firm brandings and marketing program using the new packaging support program in store. Always using the same self-vision and always using the banner. This is the extra display. You can see the Buah Vita. Can I use this one? Always this. This is the core brand. In every store for the branding, they're always using the core brand here. Okay. Sorry. This is for the modern trade activity for the Buah Vita, the TV commercial. And as I mentioned that they have targeting market for kids, so they enter the high school activation using the Buah Vita, and they support the school activity with the brand of the Buah Vita Mini. This is the Buah Vita Mini. Also the Buah Vita Mini. And this is the campaign of the Buah Vita using the TV station. They also using the brand endorser and also using the specific artists to as a brand ambassador to Buah Vita. This is Darius and Nirina Zubi, right? Yeah. Based on the price analysis, we can see that the Buah Vita is the most high price among local manufacturer, but they can be the leading of the same product in market. This is still the price analysis for the Buah Vita compared to the competitor. And the place analysis, Buah Vita adopt multi-distributor strategy because the Buah Vita is from the Unilever. So the distributor is separated based on the channel in Jakarta, namely modern and general trade. And for the national key account, they handle directly for trading term except for the product delivered. In Outer Java, generally they will choose one distributor to handle all channel. But in 2007, Unilever achieved 5 awards, the most powerful distribution performance. So we can see that sorry, Dr. Vega. Based on the power of the brand, it make easier to marketer to put this marketing strategy. This is the competitive brands and market situation in Indonesia. Non-carbonate drinks expected growing double digits. We can see that always higher years to years. And competitive brand for the juice, energy drink, syrup is still the leading. Fruit juice is also the leading. Also the situation in this individual consumption, we can see that juice is the leading, and this syrup is also the leading. This is the competitive brand, and we can see the competitive brand for the Buah Vita for the brand imaginary. How to see which position of our brand. Sorry, this is the brand explanatory in terms of brand recognition. And this is the brand explanatory for the brand recall of Buah Vita compared to others competitor. We can see Buah Vita is the leading, and the second place is ABC. This is the brand awareness for Buah Vita. Buah Vita Brand Association. The research divided to 4 clusters to capture the strength, affordability, and uniqueness. Variable of association in this research mainly was using relative importance on the category. And this is we call the natural and health for the Buah Vita brand. This one is liquid juice drinker brand associated. So which cluster of the brand of the Buah Vita, we can see this one. And this is the Buah Vita Brand Association. This is the position for non-Buah Vita Brand Association and Buah Vita Pyramid. So the Buah Vita is liquid juice category, fruit drink subcategories. They have a nice taste and aroma, refreshing, has added nutrition, multi-size, square and bright, and also expensive. The customer segment is male and female, general. We can consume the Buah Vita noon, afternoon, during lunch, morning, and every time. It's for the modern, competent, and reliable upper class and reputed company because it's under the Unilever. They also has the quality and market leader. They had fun, security, social approval, and self-respect. So this is the brand of the Buah Vita fruitarian community engagement. Thank you. I think it's enough about the theory and the case study, Dr. Vega.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you for Dr. Evi for the presentation. Well, it's interesting discussion and completely the product presentation before. And I believe it's a very strong correlation between product and branding, of course, because we need to catch up the marketing and a customer, of course. And well, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants, now we are come to the opinion question and answer session. Please raise your hand in the maybe in this screen, and don't forget to mention your name. Please, is it already a question for all the participants? Okay. Is there any? Okay. If we talk about the product and branding, it's actually from me and I believe from all the participants, Dr. Evi. I mean, in your opinion, because most of us is a student. I mean, if we talk about product and branding, it's very. I believe it's a. I mean, the development of the branding and the product is come or move very fast. In your opinion, what is the attitude and mindset that we need to do dealing with this situation?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vega. For maybe for product development is different with the brand development.
Yes.
Yeah. For product development is we're talking about what kind product we will produce for 1 year, 5 years for future. But for the brand development is we are talking about our existing product and the launch product. How to winning the market. Yep. So what is the willingness of the attitude? The attitude is for the brand awareness is the first is correlated with the segment, which kind of segment we will choose, what we will associate our product with the segment we will choose, and correlation with the analysis of the data of the customer, analysis of the data of the habit for the customer, the needed of the customer, and the competitor also. The analysis of the competitor. What is the competitor do in the market? What kind of strategy in the market? They will help us to make the brand development will be stronger.
So I believe it's about learn about the condition or the situation,
yes.
Right?
Yes, analysis thinking is the most important.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to say that when you screen the Harley Davidson motorcycle screen, there's a answer from Harrison. He said maybe because of their shot of freedom. He said like that.
The freedom, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Time freedom, money freedom.
Because it's too expensive, of course.
Of course. That's why the Harley Davidson called the brand advocate.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, for all the participants, is there any question? Place your hand and mention your name. You can talk directly on the screen, please. Is there any? Okay. So maybe I could continue my curiosity, of course. In your opinion, again, I mean, in the beginner, especially in student, we always sometimes we feel insecure to develop the product and or branding. If we talk about the topic of this virtual lecture today, what is the most prospect product and branding in, of course, in pharmacy and healthcare? Because if we talk about pharmacy and healthcare, it's not just about the drug, but also about the health treatment.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vega. This is the bestseller student, right?
Yeah, most of a bestseller student.
Okay. Don't be afraid to have a new product or new brand, because the most important is the how we can get the right team. We all the strength team to build the new product and the new brand. For example, you have a new product to launch in market with the same competitor. For example, maybe for the bestseller student, mostly almost has interest in cosmetic. Yeah. If you talk about the cosmetic, it's all almost women and men also using the cosmetic.
Cosmetic, yeah.
But the product is many in market. So how we can confidence to enter the market with our new product? First, we must have a good quality in product. That's a must for the product first. After we have the quality in product, second time is how to choose the brand of the product. Choose the right product using the segment. For example, if I choose the cosmetic for the segment millennial, maybe I can choose the Mile for the brand of my cosmetic name. Maybe yes, because my segment is the millennial. So I will choose brand name is Mile. After that, can I share my share screen again?
Yeah, sure.
I believe I have this one in my presentation. This one. Sorry, why?
Yeah.
Sorry. After I choose the name of my new product, I will go to internal discussion with my team. How about implementing the corporate or business strategy and research design to propose the name and logo. For example, I have the name and how to choose the logo for my Mile. Don't forget what is the needs of the millennial segment. Maybe for the font, they like something more interest than others. Font, colors of the name, I choose for the Mile must integrated with their need. After I have the internal discussion with the name and logo, and then I will go to the FGD and the online survey, for my branding. I will get the data for the group of discussion and group of the online survey, which kind brand, which kind font, which kind colors they mostly like. After that, I will go to the analysis to brand design development. For example, when we choose the name of the Immunicare, because we want to go the public, not only for the biopharma employee, we choose which one brand Immunicare we will choose. We can see the design of the font is different in others, and the colors is always and also different. After that, after we get the FGD and online survey, we analyze the data and we will choose the brand based on the analysis data. Thank you, Dr. Vega.
Well, that's a good answer, because I believe but I could say that it's not just about the product functional, but also we need to catch up the what customer needs. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, the time is end. So thank you once again for Dr. Ibu Evi. I call Ibu Evi actually because we have a lot
And I call you Dr.
before, yeah.
Vega, right?
Yeah. So there we have it, two speaker and two aspect, especially in product and branding. And I believe we have good info for our attitude, mindset, and knowledge for their competency and experience. So Ibu Evi, this is our certificate of appreciation to you. Thank you very much once again. And please let me screenshot. Okay. Once again, thank you very much for your sharing today, the presentation. So I will end of our meeting today with this quote from with the quote from Francis Bacon that say, "Knowledge is everything." I mean, knowledge is a power. Thank you for once again for Mr. Yuda Oki Pratama and Dr. Evi Sylvia, all the participants. Stay healthy, productive, and have a nice weekend. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Vega.
you,
Thank you,
Dr.
everyone.
Bu Evi. Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Nice
We
to
will
meet
see next
you
time.
all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for all the participants.